Greetings, peoples of the planet Earth. 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 We currently have 327 of our best warships in orbit. Each one has targeted a Dolomite warhead at each of your major capitals. In order to prevent the assured destruction of your race and your likely extinction, our demands are simple. You must remove from power the following people. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are to be handed over. And as our second demand, we want nude 3D pictures of Jenna Coleman. We thank you for your cooperation, and good day. Good evening, folks. Dr. Freedom here with you. Time for some Doctor News. News from in and around the universe that may or may not excite you in such funny ways. You're going to go, ooh, that tingles. Okay, but a lot of people asking a lot of weird questions out there. And all right, one we're going to get to here in a minute. But let's go ahead. Let's hop right in. Let's get on to the news. Let's get to what's going. Let's get to what's happening. All right. First off, the top of the bat, confirmed episodes 1 and 2 of Class will be available from 10 a.m. on October 22nd on BBC 3. For more details, boom, this came straight from the BBC press office over on Twitter. And as you can see, boom, 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 at BBC Press will take you to where this is. And also, if you want, do a search for BBC Class, or they've got the wrong hashtag. Usually it's hashtag Class DW these days. So if you want to go that route, you can. Moving on, Power of the Daleks is going to be shown in U.S. cinemas. That's right. That's awesome. BBC American Fathom Events have announced a new animated version of Power of the Daleks will be shown in cinemas across the United States on the 14th November 2016, a few days before it premieres on television at 8:25 p.m. on the 19th of November. The showings will also feature bonus content, including interviews with the members of the original cast. And then they go on to the blah, 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 he stuff right there. Now, Power of the Daleks is a very pivotal episode because it was the first episode, with a new doctor. Period. Yeah, actually, it just was the first episode with a new doctor. It was just after the quote-unquote rejuvenation of William Hartnell into Patrick Troughton. So that's why it's kind of nice that they're going to, put this out on animation. They have the original audio, but of course, the film of it has been lost because the BBC, went crazy back in the day. All right, moving on. Doctor Meets the World of Hargreaves, Random House have announced a new range of books based on the popular Mr. Men, created by Roger Hargreaves. And here you go. If you want to take a look at it, boom, 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 boom. Here's all the stuff you need to know about it and when. Okay, moving onward, upward. Classic series writer to contribute to Series 10. Now, Stephen Moffat's confirmed that a scriptwriter from the classic era will pen a script for the upcoming series. He announced this, of course, at New York Comic Con. The problem is this. Everybody's been like, Doc Freedom, they're going to do this. Well, yeah, I've known this because I read this a few days ago. This is from the 9th. The problem is I'm waiting for a name. Before I get excited and before I start jumping up and down for joy going, yeah, I want a name. Because once I hear a name, I'll go, who, that is just fabulous. Okay, so you see what I mean? I want a name before I get excited and start going off on this. And like I said, one of the many fake accounts, one of my competitors was asking about that. That's why I threw that in. Okay, jumping off the handle a little bit, Strangeness in Space. This is a project under Sophie Aldrich, Claire Eden, and Trev and Simon. And they are up for several categories of the Audioverse Awards. And I thought that's very exciting, especially given the fact they've had so many great guest stars in here. It's Strangeness in Space is an audio series, and it's great for the whole family. I'm not kidding. There's not really anything in there you can consider too adult for any kids or anything like that. So this is for people of all ages. And like I said, and I may also do this because Sophie Aldred is really bent over backwards for this, little nowhere YouTube channel. I'm not kidding. She has always been fantastic, always been incredibly friendly. She, plus the fact she's given us so much of her time for programs, and I can never thank her enough for that. Okay, John Barrowman's going to join David Tennant and Billie Piper for photo ops at the Alamo City Comic Con. So if you're going to that, which is going to be on the weekend of the 20th to the 30th of October in San Antonio, Texas, and they're going to be there. And, of course, David and Billie appearing Saturday only. Now, adding on to that, though, and this was just announced a few hours ago, and this is also Alamo City Comic-Con, Jenna Coleman will be there for both Friday and Saturday. So that's for October 28th and October 29th. Did I get that wrong? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is the 28th through 30th. I thought for a second I might have said November. But you see, the brain is slipping. So there you go. Now, this part it's not really directly affecting Doctor Who news, but you may want to keep an eye on it. BBC Studios to cut 300 staff as hit shows move to the private sector. Now, this is a lot of weirdness going on there. They're claiming this big budget cut thing and all that's going to be going on is not going to affect the drama department, of which Doctor Who is under. But I would seriously keep my eye on this, okay? I really would. So 300 of its program makers redundant as its £400 million production arm prepares to be spun off into a separate unit, and the prospect of losing shows such as Song of Praise to the commercial sector. Now, is there any chance of Doctor Who being lost? I don't think the BBC would be that stupid, because they know the second they sign over the rights and say, look, we're not going to do it anymore, blah, 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 they're going to turn around and sell the rights. And, see, Netflix will definitely make them an offer they can't refuse. Just off the top of my head, Stars, I'm not sure if they touch a Doctor Who product again after Torchwood Miracle Day. But then again, Doctor Who is very highly profitable in as long as toys, and all the other thing goes. Merchandising. And also kind of related to this was up 4 days ago. I was going to talk about this sooner, but I was waiting for a little more news to hop out. And this is Peter Capaldi. Star Salaries demand a bid Star Salaries demand is a bid to dismantle the BBC. Now, I wish they'd done that headline just a wee bit better. It's from the Herald, who, by the way, operates a thing that if I didn't let them, bypass my ad blocker, they were going to be total dicks. Now, okay. So now I've got all these stupid ads popping up. And what I love most is if your cursor so much as slides off to the side and you click on this, guess what? This is all one big freaking ad. All right, but getting on to the main part of that. All right, the Scottish actor said that the clause in the BBC's new royal charter, which requires the corporation to disclose the pay of talent earning more than £150,000 per year, was part of an attempt to dismantle the BBC, aka the broadcaster. He was also backed in this by Doctor Who writer Stephen Moffat, who described the proposal as, quote-unquote, intrusive, invasive nonsense. Now, here's the thing. On one side of the spectrum, I can see where they're coming from. But on the other, if the British people are footing the bill for the British Broadcasting Corporation, should they not have a right to know how much these guys are getting paid? I'm not kidding. How much are they still throwing at Graham Norton, for crying out loud, to hang around? I'm not kidding. But, see, so in a way, it's kind of like a 50-50, because I can understand it's an invasion of privacy, but at the same time, you're on the people's dole. So don't the people, as well as the government, who's paying, for the British Broadcasting Corporation, people who are paying TV licenses have a right to know how much these guys are getting paid of their money? You see, that's why I'm kind of on the fence about this one. Well, that's Fred Sanfordism. If anyone knows what that is, comment in the comment box. If you've watched Sanford and Son, you know what this means. Okay, so, and that's all I had. That's right, because that's where I was looking up the article. So once again, keep your eyes out there. Like I said, lots of weirdness going on. Class, of course, is going to be coming up in just a couple of weeks. Well, actually, 9 days. It's hard to believe 9 days till Class pops out. And we're going to probably start covering it if it's possible that we can get a chance to watch it in a legal manner. So I have to be very careful now, because I'm on a YouTube watch list, and I know I'm on a YouTube watch list. I'm not being paranoid. It's called the second I put up anything that could be copyright claimed, I am smacked with it. Sometimes for the video is even done uploading. Yet there's assholes out there with entire movies on their channels, entire television series, people who watch an entire episode while they're reactioning to it, and they're cleared under fair use. Yet me, who's talking about it and dissecting it and doing anything that a regular news channel would do, is being bent over and being, just say, I keep hearing a banjo playing the British anthem. Oh man. Well, okay, so until next time, everybody, That's it. Take care, Tata. Like I said, Death Moon 4 is being worked on. I hope you've been enjoying Death Moon. Things are definitely going to start taking some left turns with the next chapter. I think you're going to be introduced to your main villain in a way. So it's just, like I said, I'm writing this, I'm directing this, I'm producing this, and doing it multicast. I've got to, send out the lines to everybody, and then they come back. I edit them together. So it's a little bit different than Skydark, where I was doing all the parts. So, hey. So enough of this, because I know most of you out there will at this point. So good night. Take care. Catch you all on the flip side. Freedom out, babies.